Hi, my name's Suzanne Day and I'm a healer, and today I've got a healing for Australia to remove the cabal from our soil. So I stand in the power of my soul. I see and act as the Creator does. I am the Creator. Rescue and harmonious developments for the world and all beings. I seal and protect this space with my life shield, which I activate now. I am protected from evil eyes, evil intent, low vibrational beings and energy. I also use the numbers 8888 for divine protection, which I now place these numbers around my auric field for protection. And this healing is done with permission from each soul before it is commenced. And all those people who do not wish to take part can simply say no, and they will not receive this energy. Okay, so we, the good people of Australia, are being controlled, abused, violated and lied to by our government departments, organisations, councils and businesses. And the cabal have ruled in Australia since the first white man came here in the 1800s. And since they have been here in Australia, they have murdered, killed, abused, tortured, beaten Aborigines and white men too. And they have kept people as slaves, enslaved and controlled us. And children have been taken away from families, kidnapped, caused heartache, trauma and illness to many people. And I will now go back down the timeline to this date so that I can work on this to remove and to replace this event with good Australians who stand in peace and love. And I see the root of all this evil from the cabal, and I'm pulling this root out along with all the other roots and cords which is underneath the Australian soil. And I will remove the anchor that is holding all of this in place. And I see in my mind's eye these roots, threads, tunnels, bunkers, contracts, agreements, handshakes, deals, payoffs, controls, beliefs that are holding all of this in place. And all slave and prisoners contracts are all null and void, this time and date, which is today, into infinity. And I now cut all of this up with my sword of God, and as God as my witness. And the people of Australia do not consent to any of this abuse, control and contract. We are free beings living in truth and love, and we will not allow for any abuse or control to take place on our soil. We are standing up for human rights, and we stand up together. And I see the people of Australia in my mind's eye. We are now all standing up together as one powerful group in peace, love, truth, compassion and freedom. We are all united now. All agencies that are connected to the cabal in Australia, I am now cutting. And I see the roots of these evil entities and groups, all cut in my mind's eye now. And I have pulled out the roots and the anchors of this from our soil with my hand. And I am removing all fraud, corruption, lies, big pharma, health systems, big tech, big media, police force, military, run by government and the cabal. And I am exposing to the Australian people the lies, the corruption and the hidden truths so that they see the real truth now and what has been going on. And I am showing the child stealing, the child trafficking, the money laundering, the child slavery, the sexual assault, the abuse, the murder, the organ harvesting and the adrenochrome. And did you know that over 1 million children were rescued from under Sydney? That's what the white hats have been doing. They've been removing all the children kept in tunnels underneath. 1 million children were kept in tunnels underneath Sydney. And I'm also exposing to the Australian people the lies, the fires, the storms, the bushfires, the earthquakes. All of this has been caused by geoengineering, which is man-made machines to cause it all. And I will expose taxation, fraud, stealing, courts, accounting, unlawful behaviour, and those who work for the courts and the government departments. And any new laws that are not good for the people, I am removing now. And I see all secrets now coming to the surface to be viewed and dealt with. And I also exposed all churches, charities and schools and corruption and lies that have been involved in all of this. And I now see all of this in my mind's eye. And I now collapse this matrix completely. All that was holding this up, the anchor is all pulled out. And all is falling down now in this time and date into infinity. All conditions and beliefs, dysfunctions connected to all of this is now collapsing and falling to the ground as dust and dirt. And I am pulling out all threads and roots of this consciousness that has been in Australia. I see the point in time when all this dysfunction, control, lies, contracts, pacts, agreements, vows, all of this is now collapsing and falling away this time and date. I am placing all of these particles into the quarantine cube so they can be transformed by the infinity symbol and then sent to the light. All lessons that Australians need to learn are being learnt now. All old patterning on all timelines and dimensions are now being returned to the Creator's norm of perfection, this date and time. We see the Australian people are all arising as one group of people now. Whistleblowers are coming out and exposing what has been going on. And only those beings are here in Australia who have good hearts and peaceful thoughts. We see the new Australia that we are building in our communities with freedom, love, truth and peace. And we have released all fears and doubts. Now, all people in Australia are now all with morals. They stand for integrity and they are honest beings. We stand up for love, peace, truth and freedom. And I'm asking all whistleblowers to come forward to speak their truth, to expose the lies, the deceit that has gone on in Australia. I also ask that all that has been stolen from Australia in funds, land, equipment, resources from Aborigines or white men are now returned to the people of Australia. All agreements made for this to happen and for it to be taken from us is now returned back to us, the good people of Australia. And all contracts are null and void this time and date, which is today, into infinity. I now command the universe to allow this event to take place this time and date into infinity. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. And so it is. And now I'm going to do harmonization of our journey and roots. I imagine a starting point and my goal, which is to infuse all the people of Australia with honesty, ethical morals, love energy, peaceful thoughts, happiness, joy, and good values and beliefs in their heart space, mind, and consciousness. In my mind's eye, I see all Australians returning to the norm of the Creator with their perfect blueprint in place. I see everyone feeling positive with love and joy in their heart. I see all these goals and desires and intentions. All these core values are now placed within the beam of light. I now compress all of this to a point and I place it into all Australian crown chakras. I am also putting all of these core values and intentions into the auric field that is around Australia and also into Australians, into the Australian root chakra that is deep in the ground. In this way, these intentions will be continually reinforced and will be sent to Australians with these messages and the light codes that are required. They will feel and see these in their heart and soul now. I activate this now. I will also put these light codes and messages into the atmosphere above Australia so they can be downloaded whenever they are required. I command for the universe to make this intention and request happen. And I activate all of this now, this time and date, into infinity. Thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done, and so it is. And the positive affirmation is, the people of Australia are free and live in love now. And the number to chant for divine protection, 8888. And to stop things from ever happening again, 913 78195. And I now cut all cords that I have shared in this healing group now. I use my hand to cut these cords now. I also cut all ancestral lineage that has been attached in this timeline. And I see everyone having all roots ground deeply into Mother Earth, anchored into the Mother Earth core from our feet chakras, which are open now. And I bring this earth energy up through all roots of all beings, and I fill all entire bodies now to 1 meter above all heads. We are now all perfectly balanced in spirit, heaven, matter, and earth, and all that is within and around me is now transformed to the light. Thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done, and so it is.